You know that feeling of being completely lost in the endless world of dieting? Yeah, you are definitely not alone there. It feels like a constant flood of new plans, new promises, and they all seem to lead right back to where you started. It's a really frustrating cycle, isn't it? So that brings us to the big question, the one we're all asking. Why do most of these diets fail? I mean, they promise so much, but lasting results? Not so much. Well, the material we're exploring today offers a pretty compelling answer. It basically argues that these diets fail because they treat the human body like, well, like a machine. They're all about the mechanics, completely separate from our soul and our mind. This slide really gets to the heart of it. On one side, you've got that machine approach, right? It's all about counting calories, measuring proteins, tracking sugars, just inputs and outputs. But on the other side, you have the holistic approach. This sees food as nourishment for the entire person. Your body, sure, but also your soul and your mind. It's a totally different way of looking at things. All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to tackle the diet dilemma, move beyond seeing the body as a machine, dig into the principles of good food, then explore the art of mindful eating, and we'll wrap it all up with food, faith, and gratitude. Okay, let's dive right in. First up, beyond the body as a machine. This is all about a new philosophy of food. So, according to this philosophy, true nourishment is, well, it's all connected. It's not just about what's happening inside your own body, soul, and mind. It actually extends outward to your role in society and even the environment. Think about it. Every single food choice we make has this kind of ripple effect. All right, next up, let's get practical. Let's look at the principles of good food. In other words, what should we actually be eating? This is where that big philosophy really meets the plate, and it all starts with how we choose our food in the first place. Now, this ethical checklist is really fascinating. It's pushing us to look way beyond just the nutritional labels on the package. It's asking deeper questions like, is it halal or permissible? Is it tayyib, good and pure? Was it sourced without theft? Is it free from exploitation, like child labor? Does making it harm the environment? All of a sudden, a simple meal becomes a really conscious, ethical choice. And that intentionality continues with how we actually get our food. The whole idea here is to connect with your local environment. Prioritize local food when you can. Eat what's in season. And when you're dealing with vendors, be fair, be easygoing. It's really about aligning our bodies with the natural rhythms of the world around us. Okay, so we've covered the what's. Now let's move on to the how. This is the art of mindful eating, and this is a huge piece of the puzzle because it's not just what you put on your plate, it's how you eat it. This is about transforming the entire act of eating itself. And the first rule is so simple, it's almost deceptive. Eat only when you are truly hungry. I mean, it sounds obvious, right? But think about it. How often do we eat out of boredom or stress or just because the clock says it's lunchtime? The first real step is just learning to listen to your body's actual signals and tune out all that other noise. And here's the flip side of that same coin. Stop eating before you are completely full. See, it's not just about knowing when to start, it's about knowing when to stop. The key is to stop when you're satisfied, not when you're stuffed. And trust me, that subtle little difference can be a total game changer for your digestion and your energy levels. And this gives us a really great mental picture for how to do that. It's often called the rule of moderation. The idea is to imagine your stomach in thirds. 1/3 is for food, another third is for drink, and you leave that last third empty for breath. It's such a simple, practical way to avoid that awful, overstuffed feeling. So how do we stay present at the table? Well, here are some really practical things you can do. Try to eat with other people, especially your family. Put the phone away and just be present, not zoned out. Chew your food well. Simple things, right? Even the practice of eating with your right hand or saying God's name before you start. Each one of these is just a small act that turns a meal from something mechanical into a truly mindful experience. All right, now we get to the deepest layer of all this: food, faith, and gratitude. We've covered the what to eat and the how to eat it, but this section is all about the why. Why are we even eating in the first place? And a big part of that why is cultivating gratitude. And that really starts with just being aware. I mean, think about the incredible journey your food took to get to your plate. From the sun and the rain to the farmers, the transporters, the person who prepared it. When you really stop and reflect on that whole process, you can't help but feel a sense of appreciation.
And when you have that sense of gratitude, it naturally flows into a more generous spirit. It means you respect the food, so you don't waste it, save those leftovers, you don't criticize it, and you find ways to share it, maybe by gifting some to your neighbors or giving food in charity to people who really need it.
I think this is such wise, compassionate advice for a situation we all face. What if you can't afford something you really want? Well, the guidance here isn't to fall into despair. It's to work to improve your situation for sure, but also to be grateful for what you do have and to always keep your perspective by looking to those who have even less. And this quote just sums it all up so perfectly. For the son of Adam, a few morsels are sufficient to keep his back straight. It really gets to the ultimate goal here, which is contentment. You start to realize that you don't actually need a ton of food to be truly nourished. Real strength, both physical and spiritual, comes from having just enough, not from having way too much. So let's end with this one big question, because it kind of reframes this entire conversation. What if the purpose of eating isn't just to fuel the body, but to nourish the soul? It invites us to see every single meal as a new opportunity, an opportunity for connection, for mindfulness, for gratitude. Definitely something to chew on, so to speak, next time you sit down to eat.